your cell phone, your wallet, your time, your ideas. No barcode, no party, no ID, no beers. Your bank card, your license.
Welcome to Radio Bravery Live. This is Justin Bellshaw. YouTube.com/RadioBravery is where you can catch it. September 22nd, this is Friday, 2017. We are live. Got a lot of news today to cover.
Your tips, your wrath, your laughs, your balls. We want it all.
But first off, Radio Bravery doesn't want your soul here. We want to free your mind. So wake the hell up and think for yourself. Stop trusting the mainstream media, stop trusting the lies, and trust your gut. You know what's right, you know what's wrong. You know how to use this thing, so stop atrophying that muscle. It's dying. Just like the calcification of your pineal gland from fluoride. So take your iodine, folks. Take your colloidal silver. I would just suggest it. Because a hurricane is about to hit Fukushima and the coast of Japan. We'll see those radioactive isotopes moving towards us soon, so we need to stay protected. I want you to keep your soul and your mind and your body great and safe again. Thank you for joining me. This is Justin Bellshaw. We are live on Radio Bravery. Let's jump into some news. That was Adam Freeland bringing us in with We Want Your Soul, the theme song of the New World Order and CNN. Barack Obama listens to that in the shower as he wakes up every day and thinks about your soul and bathing in it. That is our ex-president. Now let's jump into some news here. This is from NECN.com. Shocked. Maine woman ordered by city to take down pro-Trump signs. This is from Rockland, Maine. A Rockland, Maine woman says she would rather go to jail than to take down her pro-Donald Trump signs. Susan Reitman has hung two banners on her front gate. One that says, I love Trump, and another that says, he won, get over it. She received a notice from the city's code enforcement office a few days ago asking her to take them down. I was shocked. This is my freedom of speech. People have a right to voice their opinion, especially on their own damn property. She's absolutely right. Assistant Code Officer Bill Butler said another Rockland resident complained about the sign's size. Aww. Well, the signs are not that big. They're like 2 feet by 2 feet. It can be no larger than 2 feet, so it's 3 feet by 2 feet. That's just way too big to be supporting our president. You cannot have a sign that's over 2 feet that supports our president, especially in a free country. Absolutely not. You know what? We might ruffle Kim Jong-un's little butt feathers or something. He said residents need to apply for permits to display signs like that. You need to apply for a permit in Rockland, Maine to display a Trump sign on your own property. Yes, Reitman said she wasn't aware of the ordinance and feels it should be changed to allow for this kind of political speech. She apparently has until Friday to remove the banners or else face a fine between $1,000 and $1,000 a day. Reitman, who in this picture looks close to a senior citizen. She's an elderly lady. She's got her classy house. She's got the signs just on the front of her fence here on her own property. It's a moving fence, so it like pulls out when she pulls her car in, and then they pull the gate back closed. So, I mean, it's got a nice private property sign right next to it. There's some classy looking signs. And they're American flag colors, patriotic colors. There's nothing wrong with this at all. And it is disgusting that they're trying to make this lady pay $1,000 a day to have a I Heart Trump sign on her own property. So this is the world we live in. This is now North Korea, Kim Jong-un's North Korea. He's moved his fat little waddle butt over here, and he is slamming any supporters of the actual American state. No way. So that's pretty disgusting. We'll continue to follow and see what happens on Friday to this poor woman later this day. I'll probably do a live stream report if I from my phone. If I hear any more news about that, I'll continue to cover it. So please send me any tips at RadioBravery RadioBravery@gmail.com, RadioBravery@gmail.com for any tips, or you can go to RadioBravery.wixsite.com/news, RadioBravery.wixsite.com/news, and there's a button for news tips there as well. Send me any information if you get any more news on this Maine woman who is being forced to take down her pro-Trump signs. Now, here's another article from Infowars.com. Trump orders new sanctions targeting North Korea. This is from Mikhail Thalen. U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered new sanctions Thursday targeting people and entities tied to North Korea. Trump announced the new sanctions at the United Nations alongside key administration officials, South Korean President Moon Jae-in and President Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Today I'm announcing a new executive order just signed that significantly expands our authority to target individual companies, financial institutions, and that finance and facilitate trade with North Korea, the life's losers in North Korea. The executive order, which aims to pressure North Korea into complete denuclearization, empowers the U.S. Treasury Department to go after any groups conducting trade in goods, services, or technology with Pyongyang. North Korea's nuclear program is a grave threat to peace and security in our world, and it is unacceptable that others financially support this criminal rogue regime, Trump said. The brutal North Korean regime does not respect its own citizens or the sovereignty of other nations. A new executive order will cut off sources of revenue that fund North Korea's efforts to develop the deadliest weapons known to humankind. Well done. We'll see how that goes. That is one step in the right direction towards slapping little fat rocket man in his fat little mouth. So I'm glad to see that Trump is making moves, but from what I hear, that the deep state is wants to send. Well, I'll just jump to this article right here. Another one from Infowars.com. Mattis, U.S. to send over 3,000 troops to Afghanistan. So clearly, the powers that be that are residing to obstruct every decision Trump makes, like General Mattis and Kelly and McMasterbator in there, are wanting to stay in war in the 7 countries we're in, but they do not want to touch North Korea. They just want to do a little slap on his little fat butt every couple of months, more sanctions, more this, more that, fuck the people over, fuck their nation over, allowing them to have sanctions that'll probably cause people to starve to death there, even more than they already are. But they don't want Trump to actually make a physical play against Kim Jong Poopy Pants, but it's looking like it will probably go in that direction, and I cannot believe that Trump is allowing General Mattis to send 3,000 more troops into Afghanistan. That will change the total. That'll increase the total number of U.S. troops on the ground in Afghanistan to now 14,000. We now have 14,000 fucking troops in Afghanistan in a failed war in a country that is not even a country, of over 7 different sects of people who are not wanting to get along. They didn't want to be a country. They don't want to be a country. They don't want us there, and they don't want us meddling in their goddamn business. So we need to get the hell out of Afghanistan and not be sending another 3,000 goddamn troops. It is absolutely absurd, and Rand Paul and Donald Trump and everybody who I support has said that from the beginning. And I'm disappointed that Donald Trump is going with moving 3,000 more troops over there. This is a stupid, ignorant move that will only cost more U.S. lives. And I'm very against it. I stand against any intervention in any other country until it comes to the survival of ours. And we are not quite there yet with North Korea, but that is the only country where we are even near being at war with, where we should be at war with them. Like Rand Paul said last week that I covered on the show, we have not in 7 years voted on any of the 7 wars that we're currently in. Barack Obama was the only sitting president we've ever had in the history of our country who was at war for 8 years combined, all together. Every single year he was president, we were in more wars, more troops, more obstruction, more intervention. We don't need this shit. This is not what our country is about. Our country is about America first, and we need to put ourselves and our own people first. We need to listen to Donald Trump and stop listening to his stupid ass McMasturbator and the stupid loser generals who their only life success has been waving their average sized dick around in other countries and trying to show their U.S. dominance, which has failed every single fucking time. Failed. These generals are pathetic. They are a joke. Their little tiny average dicks don't need to be swinging in other countries, and we need to get them out of the White House. We need to drain the swamp, okay? Drain the fucking swamp now. Okay, so next piece of news. Obviously, Trump just ordered new sanctions on North Korea. We just covered that. And then the 3,000 troops that are supposedly already on the way to Afghanistan as we speak, or a lot of them are already there. This is from CNN.com, exclusive, the Russia investigation exclusive. U.S. government wiretapped former Trump campaign chairman. Wow. Really? No kidding. No kidding. So Trump was right, once again. Since the beginning of the year, Trump has been saying that his staff was wiretapped, his family was wiretapped, his associates were wiretapped. People who he just met only one time have been wiretapped. Yeah, Alex Jones was wiretapped. Alex Jones's girlfriend was wiretapped. Roger Stone was wiretapped. Paul Manafort was wiretapped. And they were wiretapped from 2 years before the election it comes out. 2 years! 2 years! This began in 2014. You gotta be kidding me. People who think ignorantly that you are not being spied on. They have had a FISA warrant for 2 years collecting information on everybody connected to Paul Manafort. He wasn't even involved in the Trump campaign then. He wasn't even involved in election processes then. He was working as a lobbyist, and they're still wiretapping him. These people are criminal. These people are willing to listen to and collect all of your data. All of your data. Every moment, every person you talk to, every person they talk to, they have a giant web of connections, and they can click on your name, and then they can click on the next person's name, and they can see all the webs of where you're all interconnected, and they have the inside info, and they're using it against you. And they're using it for blackmail purposes, and they're using it to try to take the president down. And they raided Paul Manafort's home in the middle of the night. They raided his wife's underwear drawer. They raided his underwear drawer. They took pictures of both their underwear. They kept them out there for hours. They came at gunpoint, all for a warrant to take computer information and paper documents. Those are the only things the warrant included. But they came in threatening, harassing, with guns, dozens of SWAT team members, just harassing, just tearing his house apart, tearing his wife's underwear drawer apart. This is criminal. This is not a real investigation. There is zero connection to Russia. There has never been a single shred of proof. And now they've got Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg talking about, oh yeah, well, we're going to turn in every ad that was on Facebook. Like, that fucking means anything. Because Drudge Report linked to Russian news sites like 100 times or something. Like, oh my god, like, holy shit, Russian news exists. There is real Russian reporters, and oh my god, someone's linking to them. They must be a Russian agent. No, you are a fucking psycho, and you are losing all credibility. So this is what's going on. Paul Manafort is just being harassed. Apparently, he's already been told he's being indicted. We'll see what comes of that. But once again, Donald Trump was correct. He was being wiretapped. His colleagues were being wiretapped. Everybody's being fucking wiretapped. Everybody. I don't know how hard it is for people to grasp the concept that we are all being spied on. We are all being manipulated. We are all being used, and this is an information war. There is a war on for your mind, and knowledge is power. So educate yourself, think for yourself, do your own research. Don't trust me, trust your gut. Okay? Okay. Now, let's go to Maxine Waters, Mad Maxine. Mad Maxine! The crazy, crazy bee! Giving a eulogy and using it to promote her anti-Trump agenda. Fuck Trump, fuck Trump. Oh my god, never Trumpers! Here's Mad Maxine throwing a complete tantrum during a eulogy for Dick Gregory. Let's see if I can pull this up here on the video. And again, we are live on youtube.com/RadioBravery. Thank you for tuning in. Here is the video of Mad Maxine using a eulogy to push her anti-Trump agenda.
Investigation under Robert Mueller. The special counsel started in May, and we know that there was a raid on his storage facility before Robert Mueller took over.
We're not going to take what is happening in this country. Haven't you taken enough? And then comes along this person. This person who does not respect you. This dishonorable human being who cheats everybody.
Cheats everybody, really.
This dishonorable human being who will lie at the drop of a hat.
You're a liar.
This dishonorable human being who have the alt-right and the KKK and everybody else inside his cabinet.
There's no KKK inside his cabinet.
This dishonorable human being who can criticize everybody but Putin and Russia.
You are a dishonorable bitch.
Did he collude with Russia? I bet you Dick Gregory would tell me, yeah, he did it.
Oh, I bet he would.
Take
off your mask.
The White House. We're going to take back the house that slaves built.
Oh, that slaves built. You
I know.
Disgust me.
Even
Take off your rubber mask.
Very upset. Some get afraid when I say impeachment.
Oh, impeachment, impeachment. I said impeachment.
With Donald Trump, he's gonna wish he had been impeached.
Oh, I bet he's gonna wish it. Oh, take off your rubber mask, girl.
I feel it very deeply. I am so offended by him.
Oh.
And I love my people so much that I am not gonna put up with it. I'm gonna say impeach 45 every day.
Impeach 45 every day. His name's Bush, and I hate him. Okay, that is totally Mad Maxine. I cannot even stand her face, man. She just, oh god, looks like she just walked out of the Halloween spirit store early and got the Maxine rubber mask face. I'm a congresswoman. Yeah, I'm a congresswoman. I'm not nuts at all. I'm not nuts at all. Impeach 45. Impeach 45. Tell you what. His name's Bush. His name's Bush. I hate him. Impeach 45. No way. Oh, he's crazy. He's just so irresponsible, just disrespectful. He's got black hair. I'm sick and tired of his Mexican skin. Oh wait, it's the orange hair. Oh, it's the Trump guy. Yep. Okay, 45. Impeach 45 is what I gotta say. I got my rubber mask on. My name's Mad Maxine, and keep me in there for Congress, California. Best district ever. Only completely failing. Only completely violent. No big deal. Okay, my district's going real good. Mad Maxine. Okay. I'm sorry. So that was Mad Maxine, and took over my persona there for a little. Happens every now and again, especially at work. Oh my gosh, you should see me talking to people at work. They're like, hey, can I get a drink? I'm like, nah, Peach 45 and Peach 45. I'm gonna say it every day. I'm gonna say it every day, and I'm gonna keep pooping my diaper, okay? I'm gonna poop my diaper in Peach 45. Mad Maxine. Okay, here's Trump's speech from the UN. I'm going to play a lot of it because it is absolutely incredible, and I'm kind of getting out of control here. So thank you so much for joining me. Show's still going on. Got some more news after this speech. We are live on youtube.com/RadioBravery. I'm going to try to give a little bit of commentary here during this video speech by Donald Trump. Claiming U.S. sovereignty at the UN and damning the rest of the UN not taking on their full potential as they should.
What a difference a constitutional American president makes at the United Nations.
His Excellency Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, and to invite him to address the Assembly.
Authority and authoritarian powers seek to collapse the values, the systems, and alliances that prevented conflict and tilted the world toward freedom since World War II. International criminal networks traffic drugs, weapons, people, forced dislocation and mass migration, threaten our borders, and new forms of aggression exploit technology to menace our citizens. To put it simply, we meet at a time of both immense promise and great peril. It is entirely up to us whether we lift the world to new heights or let it fall into a valley of disrepair. We must begin with the wisdom of the past. Our success depends on a coalition of strong and independent nations that embrace their sovereignty to promote security, prosperity, and peace for themselves and for the world. We do not expect diverse countries to share the same cultures, traditions, or even systems of government, but we do expect all nations to uphold these two core sovereign duties: to respect the interests of their own people and the rights of every other sovereign nation. The greatest in the United States Constitution is its first three beautiful words. They are, "We the people." Generations of Americans have sacrificed to maintain the promise of those words, the promise of our country and of our great history. In America, the people govern, the people rule, and the people are sovereign. I was elected not to take power, but to give power to the American people where it belongs. In foreign affairs, we are renewing this founding principle of sovereignty.
Right, that's where it belongs, back to the people.
Our government's first duty is to its people, to our citizens, to serve their needs, to ensure their safety, to preserve their rights, and to defend their values. As President of the United States, I will always put America first.
Yes.
Just like you, as the leaders of your countries,
should put your countries first.
And should
always
put your countries first.
Not always, but they definitely should be always, but doesn't seem like they are, like Trump.
And just as the founders of this body intended, we must work together and confront together those who threaten us with chaos, turmoil, and terror. The scourge of our planet today is a small group of rogue regimes that violate every principle on which the United Nations is based. They respect neither their own citizens nor the sovereign rights of their countries. If the righteous many do not confront the wicked few, then evil will triumph. When decent people and nations become bystanders to history, the forces of destruction only gather power and strength. No one has shown more contempt for other nations and for the well-being of their own people than the depraved regime in North Korea. It is responsible for the starvation deaths of millions of North Koreans. And
will
for
be
the
millions more until we
torture,
stop it.
Killing and oppression of countless more. We were all witness to the regime's deadly abuse when an innocent American college student, Otto Warmbier, was returned to America only to die a few days later. We saw it in the assassination of the dictator's brother using banned nerve agents in an international airport. We know it kidnapped a sweet 13-year-old Japanese girl from a beach in her own country to enslave her as a language tutor for North Korea's spies.
Disgusting.
If this is not twisted enough, now North Korea's reckless pursuit of nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles threatens the entire world with unthinkable loss of human life. It is an outrage that some nations would not only trade with such a regime, but would arm, supply, and financially support a country that imperils the world with nuclear conflict. No nation on earth has an interest in seeing this band of criminals arm itself with nuclear weapons and missiles. The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime.
Rocket Man,
the United States
you're a
is
crazy
ready,
guy in your
willing, and
world,
able.
Rocket Man.
But hopefully, this will not be necessary. That's what the United Nations
He's a rocket
is all
man.
about. It is far
pooped his
past
pants
time for
and
the
he
nations
doesn't
of
know
the world
how to
confront
wipe.
another reckless regime, one that speaks openly of mass murder, vowing death to America, destruction to Israel, and ruin for many leaders and nations in this room. The Iranian government masks a corrupt dictatorship behind the false guise of a democracy. We cannot let a murderous regime continue these destabilizing activities.
As you can see, each time you see it, they zoom in on the North Korean representative, and then they zoom in on the Iran representative. Both of them, when he's talking about their countries just failing completely, they're like...
The entire world understands that the good people of Iran want change.
Oh, did he say something about us? Did they say something about us? Oh, no, never mind. Why am I even here? We're just here to kill more innocent people. Pathetic. Life's losers. Well, that is a really good bit of Donald Trump's speech, which I thought was incredible. One of the best speeches that he's given yet. He's just getting better at public speaking. Better and better at public speaking. And that I'm glad to see. Now let's look at a couple of reactions from Donald Trump's speech. This is the first one's from CNN.com, of course. Very, 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 very fake news. North Korea. Trump's UN speech amounted to the sound of a dog barking, and that's Kim Jong-un. North Korea's foreign minister has delivered a scornful response to U.S. Donald Trump's threat to destroy the Hermit Kingdom. The Hermit Kingdom. Like that. Where the bullfrog sits on his throne. In the Hermit Kingdom. Kim Jong Poopy Pants with his samurai sword. Why? Hermit Kingdom sword fighter. All my toad masters. Likening the sound of a dog barking. That's what they called Donald Trump's speech, sounding like a dog barking. Well, if that's like a dog barking, then you better get ready to be bit. because you are a loser and you are about to lose. Donald Trump's already called you out for what you are, life's losers. That's going to be one of our hashtag today. And you are just going to fall. These little minions in North Korea just being sent there. Ri Yong-ho. Oh no. Donald Trump sounds like a dog barking. He's gonna bite you in your butt. So you better watch that kind of talk. And we've got over here The Atlantic, the anti-Trump headline daily. For the #1 anti-Trump headline every day, go to theatlantic.com/poop. That is theatlantic.com. Trump's indecisive, ill-prepared debut at the United Nations. Really? 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 Because you're like one of the only people out of like thousands who watched the speech who didn't think who thought it was ill-prepared. Oh jeez. Above all else, Donald Trump wants the world to see him as strong. He has repeatedly described himself as militaristic and his cabinet as a group of killers. He relishes saying the supposedly unsable. When he spoke at the UN General Assembly yesterday, he surely wanted his listeners to be awed by his toughness. Better, as Machiavelli said, to be feared than loved. Oh my God, The Atlantic. They just know Trump so well. They just nailed it. He's so indecisive, so ill-prepared. This rag, The Atlantic, is a bunch of garbage, and I can't even look at it anymore. I can't even make jokes about it. It's just so pathetic how much money goes into The Atlantic, how all the funding is from anti-Trump people and fucking George Soros. You're just a joke. Nobody reads The Atlantic. Nobody reads The Atlantic. That was the first time I've gone to The Atlantic in like 6 months. They are the worst of biased anti-American news that you can find. So if you want anti-America and you like looking at poop, go to theatlantic.com. Next up, leaked. Watch MSNBC's Lawrence O'Donnell unhinged for 8 crazy minutes. Oh yes, this one is a gem. After Media Eye broke this story, Lawrence O'Donnell, the failure from MSNBC, this is what he tweeted. A better anchorman and a better person would have had a better reaction to technical difficulties. I'm sorry. Oh, he doesn't sound very sorry. He sounds like a cocksucker who has no regard for human life at all. And this is how the mainstream media treats other people. So let's look at a couple of minutes of how Lawrence O'Donnell works and treats other workers at MSNBC. Which is, you know, give you a little insight to how basically empty and just rotten these people are from the inside out. No morals, you know, just no respect for anyone, just think they're better than absolutely everyone else. Oh, let's see. See if I can get this video. Of course, I can't get the video to play now. Okay, well, let's get another one because fucking media, just like so many stupid, horrible news sites. You can't click any videos without getting 14 pop-ups and a bunch of ads. These sites suck, man. Go to Infowars.com or Newswars.com if you don't want to waste your whole fucking day with goddamn ads and pop-ups and just waiting around. So back on YouTube. Let's get through this 5-second ad. Oh, here's another 5-second ad. Okay, yeah. Pause for YouTube to waste your time. Pause. YouTube. Thank you for the, it seemed like a 15-second 5 ad. Okay, here's Lawrence O'Donnell.
Well, today President Trump visited Texas, but he forgot to bring any empathy with him. But he did.
Let's see. I'll pull up this video for you because you've got to see the, you've got to see this nutbag. These are the people who are working at MSNBC right now. Check it out.
See how that one goes. Thank you, Rachel. Well, today President Trump visited Texas, but he forgot to bring any empathy with him. But he did bring a hat. A hat that is for sale. What's going on? Why am I losing this? Why don't I have sound? Alright, it's back. Someone's pressing buttons and turning my sound.
Someone's pressing buttons!
Who's asking for a Labor Day rundown in my ear?
Who's asking for a Labor Day rundown?
Someone in that control room is out of control.
Gosh! Darn it! Fuck.
God damn it.
God damn it.
10 seconds. Get.
Like a little baby.
So the president went to Texas today, and as Politico reports, he did not meet a single storm victim, see an inch of rain, or get near a flooded street. Born in horrific disaster and tragedy, and into that tragedy today stepped the president of the United States. There's insanity in the control room tonight. 15 seconds. If you think the president's language was a little too celebratory about the sudden fame that can happen to people during hurricane coverage, a fame no one should welcome, if you think the president's language missed closer and closer to the president himself. One of the deaths in Houston that was ignored by President Trump is Police Sergeant Steve Perez, who had been missing since Sunday morning. You have insanity in my earpiece. Don't leave it there. It's not my earpiece. It's somebody talking on our lines.
Don't leave it there. Don't, slave, leave it there.
10 seconds.
There's insanity in my earpiece. Sorry. Totally cool. I don't act like this all the time. I swear.
President Trump did not mention Sergeant Perez today, and he has not tweeted about people are in shelters across Texas tonight. Here's Houston's Mayor Sylvester Turner this afternoon. Every time we go to a SOT, there's a woman talking in my ear about something that has nothing to do with what we're doing here.
Oh my God.
10 seconds. Joining us now, James Fallows, national correspondent for The Atlantic and a former speechwriter for President Jimmy Carter. Also with us, Josh Earnest, former White House press secretary for President Obama. He's an MSNBC.
Oh, what a perfect place to stop it at. They're bringing on an official correspondent from The Atlantic, the poo-poo daddy page. Yeah, the anti-American scum rag. So yeah, cool. That was absolutely hilarious. Lawrence O'Donnell should probably be psychiatrically evaluated for his anger issues. I think that they're coming out on innocent people. I think he should be fired. I think he's an asshole. And I think he's very fake news. Now let's move on to one of the last articles here we're going to cover on Radio Bravery Live. This is from the London Independent, independent.co.uk. Mosquitoes carrying deadly diseases could invade 75% of America, warns the U.S. government. Experts at the CDC suggest people should wear long-sleeve shirts, stop wearing shorts, stay indoors, and even treat their clothes with insecticide if they want to avoid being bitten. Mosquitoes capable of spreading serious and potentially deadly diseases such as Zika, dengue, yellow fever could invade 3/4 of the mainland United States. The CDC, a U.S. federal agency, has previously warned that climate change could affect human health in many ways, including increasing the number of disease carriers such as mosquitoes and ticks. What does that have to do with climate change? I'm not quite sure, but it does have to do with the recent string of hurricanes, which we have been due for the last 100 years. It has to do with a natural cycle in our climate, just like Yellowstone is ready to blow and has been for the last 100 years, and we've known that because it is in a cycle, and it has to do with sun cycles, moon cycles. And that is the same with a lot of the fault lines in California. They're just waiting for earthquakes right now. And where are all the nuclear power plants? On fault lines, of course. So we'll continue to cover this and see what that eugenicist piece of garbage Bill Gates decides to do with these GMO mosquitoes he's also releasing in Texas, I believe. Now we got an article from the Washington Compost. Police use of Stingray cell phone tracker requires search warrant, appeals court says. So this is about time we finally have a breaking court development, as this will be a major staple for privacy in the future going forward. If you don't know about Stingrays, they are the fake cell phone towers that look like cell phone towers, and they actually just collect all your data from your cell phone, including calls, texts, pictures, and whatnot, and GPS. And they are all collected and sent to different police departments without a warrant at all. And so now an appeals court has ruled that it requires a search warrant in able to use any of these disguised cell phone towers. So that is really good privacy news and move back against the surveillance state. Now, the last piece of news here we're going to cover on Radio Bravery Live is from Bloomberg Markets. Another Trump Great Again article. U.S. household wealth rises $1.7 trillion to another record. The U.S. household wealth increased in the second quarter to yet another record, driven by solid gains in financial assets and rising property values. Figures from the Federal Reserve in Washington showed Thursday. Highlights of the Household Wealth Report 2Q. Net worth for households and nonprofit groups rose by $1.7 trillion, or 1.8%, to $96.2 trillion, according to Fed's Financial Accounts Report, previously known as Flow of Funds Survey. Value of financial assets, including stocks and pension fund holdings, increased by $1.2 trillion. Household debt increased by 3.7% annual rate in the second quarter, and household real estate assets rose by $508 billion. Owner's equity as share of total real estate holdings up to 58.4% from 57.9%. So yet another record as household wealth rises $1.7 trillion, hitting another record. Weekly, we are seeing these records thanks to America becoming great again. Our Trump putting America first, our president putting America first, and not having that slime ball Hillary as our president. So thank you so much for joining me live today. The website is youtube.com/RadioBravery. The beta site is wixsite.com/ or radiobravary.wixsite.com/news. And I will be here in the next couple days with another live report. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you next time.